Hey, welcome to Steph's World. And this is a little bit different. It's Steph's World for challenge, for the challenge people. And I did one earlier, and I'll be honest with you, I got so off track with everything that I thought, oh no, this is not gonna work. I started watching it and I thought, oh yeah, you guys would be going, what is wrong with her? Well, I am going to tell you right from the start, I do have brain damage. There are times when I have trouble. The words are in there, but I can't get them to hear. Okay? Please understand that. Please understand that. I had a stroke and I had a brain aneurysm, and the aneurysm is definitely, well, I don't even know if it's that, but who cares? Whatever it is, I'm having serious problems. Okay, broken thumb. Does it hurt? You betcha. It hurts across these fingers and down this arm. Oh man. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! And just getting this was a nightmare. But we won't talk about that. I could, because it had to do with hospitals and doctors and everything else. Okay, what I'd like to talk to you about, and by the way, it's nice to meet you. It's really cool to meet you. And one other thing before I get started is I want to talk to you about something that I wrote. This is how I write. Finger. I have this, that helps a lot, okay? But anyway, I wanted to talk to you all about doing a hangout. And you know, if that works the first time, then maybe we can do it again. You know, why not? It's like being face to face. I've done hangouts before. They're nothing hard, or there's nothing difficult about it, except you have to make sure that your computer has what it needs to do the hangout. It has to have certain programs to do the hangout. So what you should do is, before the hangout, check it. Pretend you're going to open up a hangout and make sure that you can actually do it. Okay? And if you need help with that, go to the help part of Google+. They have a very good help on that, and they can help you with that too. But believe me, as long as your computer is fitted with all the right stuff that they've been downloading regularly, which who knows what all that is, by the way, but we won't go there either. You're probably okay, all right? But try it. Try it ahead of time. And then let's try doing it. I'll set up a date and a time, and we'll have a hangout. We can actually look at each other. We can actually talk to each other. It'll be wonderful, you know. And you all that haven't really been saying much at all, hey, please, come on. We need you as much as you think you need anyone else. Other people or us or who all you're with. We need you. We need all of us right now. So I figured we could do a hangout. Okay, enough on that. One of the reasons that I decided to do the video, well, I wanted a couple of reasons. One is this. Everybody liked the idea about the doctor thing. Well, I did it, and I've done it. And in fact, I did it with my pain management doctor right down here. Now, I didn't have it on a piece of paper, but we did it verbally. And, I had already been with him for several months, so I could tell that he was pretty darn good. And as it turned out, I'm going to be honest, he's probably one of the best pain management doctors I've ever had. And I've had a few. Okay, so now, doctors. And I'm going to tell you something that I now know. Different parts of the country, different parts of the world doctors might be different. Okay? I'm just going to warn you right now. Alright? I've lived way up north in Chicago. I've lived in Kansas City. I've lived in Dallas, Fort Worth. And now I live around Savannah. Okay? And my doctor is actually at one of the two hospitals, too, in Savannah. I'm not used to two hospitals, okay? I'm used to being in an ambulance and having them go, well, let's see, we've got blah, 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 naming off 10 hospitals. I'm just not used to this, okay? I'm really not. So, at any rate, and especially after what happened here, I went to the hospital and oh boy, what an experience that was. Okay, now, on the doctor thing, the whole idea behind that is to build a relationship, right? Isn't everything a relationship? Isn't everybody in a relationship, so to speak? You and I are in a relationship. Do we honor and respect each other? I sure hope so. If I don't honor and respect you, I want you to tell me. Don't be angry at me. Just say, Steph, I felt like you dishonored me a little bit. And tell me why. And then if you dishonor me in some way, I'll do the same to you. And to me, that is honor and respect. Honor and respect. And you know what? When you have that honor and respect, you have a good relationship. You really do. I've learned that. So here's something else. I try not to yell. And even though I have a loud voice, I even lower it at times because I don't even realize just how loud it is. That's why when I was a teenager, I actually was a very good singer. And I was in a band, and I had a husky voice, so my voice was a lot like Stevie Nicks'. So, but anyway, getting back to our subject. So honor and respect is the name of the game, right? Okay. You don't like it if someone dishonors you, right? So a doctor wouldn't like it. They're human beings, just like any of the rest of us, Now, some doctors do have an attitude like, hey, I spent 10 years in school. I deserve more than the regular regular Joe. They really do. I have met doctors that act like that. One of my neurosurgeons for when I had my aneurysm, after they did the operation, he was like that. And believe it or not, I fired him. I really did. He had this strange attitude, and I just could not handle it. So I decided decided, well, I don't think you and I are on the same page here. You see, even the neurosurgeons can be fired. Even they can be fired. So just because they're in a specialty field doesn't make them gods. And if they think they are, then why would we want them? Because they're dangerous if they think they are. They are dangerous to all of us. Okay, now, I can't rewrite the thing, okay? This is impossible. Big time writing for me is very long, drawn out, and difficult, okay? Somewhere in my pile over here in the box, I've got that original document. But I'll be honest with you, you probably wouldn't want to use it. It's 17 years old. Things were different. 17 years ago, they were a lot different. You know, it's hard to think that way. I'm 59 years old. And when I think about that, it's like, yeah, it was a lot different. The world was a lot different 17 years ago. Okay, so first of all, you're the one that needs to write it, not me, okay? Because here's the reason. Each of us has our own needs, our own challenges, our own feelings about things, right? So what I write for me may not work out for you. You know, like for instance, in the last one that I did, and I decided, nah, I don't like this at all, and it went 55 minutes, and oh yuck, why'd I do that? I have a tendency to do that, so I must watch the time on this. Okay. Here's the deal. You call up their office, and a lot of them are pretty good. First, I look on Angie's List, too. I'm part of Angie's List, and I'll tell you right now, I am so glad I am. I have found people that are doing my work that I need done around here that I never would have found if it wasn't for Angie's List. So I could be on the TV commercial for Angie's List. Okay. There's a lot of commercials I could be on for. Trust me. All right, now. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to go for a GP. I need one. There's no question I do. I've fired about 4 since I've been down here. And I have some funny stories about that, and they're not so funny really. They're kind of sad. But I can't get into that. It'll take up too much time. Okay, now when you call up, just try to explain to them that, okay, I am a little bit, not a little bit, I am disabled. I don't want the doctor to treat me for my disabilities. I have other doctors that do that, but I need a doctor simply to help me with colds and illness and that kind of stuff, okay? Just make it real clear to the gals or men who take the calls, okay? But then explain to them that you don't want them to do an exam. You just want to talk to them first. You want to meet them. You want to discuss your being a patient with them. Just tell them that. Now, some of them might say, well, if you don't have an exam, we can't see you. If that happens, then maybe that's not the right doctor for you. Period. If he doesn't want to talk to you, there's a problem, right? There is in my book. That's not honor and respect. Not at all. we are challenged. We're challenged. We require a little more than just the average person that walks into a doctor's office, right? Okay. We're challenged. So the doctor, if he's just a GP, and I don't mean just a GP, but if he's a general practitioner, he needs to get to know us. He needs to understand that we have special requirements. Maybe he doesn't know that. And you know what? I've met GPs down here that did not know that. They tried to treat me the same way a regular doctor does. Didn't work. Did not work at all. Not at all. Now, there's a couple of very important things in your conversation, or if you even do it on paper or whatever, that I would suggest that you consider. When you're meeting with the doctor, first I would talk to him about your feelings of doc. Don't call him doc. I always call mine doc, but I usually don't do it until I get to know him for a while. And then they let me do it. They like it. I don't know why, but they do. But you go, doctor, what I'd like to do is establish a relationship with you, a relationship of honor and respect. I really would. And I want you to know that I am a very truthful and honorable woman or man. And I need you to know that. But you won't know that until you've seen me a few times. You won't know that until, we've had a few incidences happen during or within our relationship. But for right now, I came here to tell you that I am. Now, if you have a pain management doctor, I'd tell them. I'd say, I'm not here for you to be a pain management doctor. I have that. That's all covered. What I need is a regular doctor. I need a blood test once a year. I need a urine test once in a while. If I'm an older woman, I might get UTIs a lot, and especially people like me. I don't have all my feeling down here, by the way. You might think that I look perfectly normal. No, I'm not. Oh, Mr. Kane's over there. Can't bring him over here, but I do have this. This is what I put around my neck at night. Okay, you can laugh. But anyway, getting on with it. So, you try to tell the doctor right off the bat that all you're trying to do is establish a honor and respect relationship between patient and doctor. Okay? Alright, now, the next thing that's really, really, really important to me, at least it is, and if I explain it to you now, I think it will be to you too. I always ask my doctors if I tell them, look, I'm not trying to be personal. I'm not trying to get into your business. It is purely your business, and you don't even have to tell me. But it's important for me to know whether or not you do have some kind of higher power. Okay? It's important for me to know that. Excuse that stupid noise, that's my cell phone. Okay, so he may not like it. She may not like it. Try to explain it to them. And here's how I would explain it. I would say the reason I need to know this is because I've run into problems, or no, don't say that. Just say, I am just trying to make sure that you're the type of doctor who continues to want to learn, continues to want to feel like, no, I don't know everything. And yes, I do need to stay on top of things in my field, and maybe even outside of my field. Dealing, and explain this to them, dealing with a person with challenges such as mine can be a difficult thing. So if we set up this relationship now, it makes it a whole lot easier. Tell the doctor that. Don't be afraid. They go to the bathroom just like you do. They pull their pants up and down just like you do. They are normal human beings just like you are. So don't don't look at them like they're above you, because they're not. Okay, now if the doctor says, yes, I do have a higher power, which, by the way, my doctor did tell me that. In fact, we went into great length and talked about it. It was really cool. He is a special doctor. Let me tell you, I've never had a doctor like this, and he cares. He cares about me. He called me yesterday about this. He called me yesterday. How many doctors do that? He's got a bunch of people. But anyway, the reason, again, that this is extremely important for you to know this in some way, and you figure out how you want to say it to them. You figure it out. Okay? But the reason that it is so important is because you don't want a doctor that thinks that they know everything. Let me give you an example. About a little over a year ago, well, it was well over a year ago. It was definitely a year, almost a year and a half ago. I had some really serious issues that happened to me a year and a half ago. I mean, serious. And I went to the GP that I'd only gone to once in the whole time that I lived down here. Shoot, it was even hard to find his place of business. My GPS had trouble finding it even. It was unbelievable. But I finally did. But anyway, I was with a taxi cab because I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't drive. Nothing was possible at that point. I was very ill. And I went into him and he was very mean to me. He was very disrespectful. And some of his people were too. And so we had a discussion, and within the discussion, first of all, he told me, I'll speak first and then you can speak. And that is very degrading. Wouldn't you say? A little bit degrading. Some people would have just left. But I didn't. Because I did want to hear what he had to say. It was important before I fired them. And I did. Okay. Well, one of the biggest, most important things that he said to me was this. Oh, and he was a Christian. Most of them down here in the Savannah area, they are. You can count on it. We're in the deep south here. And, that's not to say that they're not all Christians or Buddhists or this or whatever, church-going people. But for the most part, everyone I've met down here goes to church, to some kind of church, okay? I have my own church. I don't need to go anywhere for it. In fact, it's more of a relationship, and I don't need to go anywhere for it. But let's get back to the deal here. Okay, so this is what he said to me. He said, I've been doing the same thing, the exact same thing, for the last 20 years. The exact same thing for 20 years? Please think about that. Please think about what that would tell you. Because I know what it told me. So when it was my turn to speak, I just couldn't get over that. I mean, he had to be first. And okay, I guess you're more special than the patient. But I was kind of glad now that he did do that first. And I said, well, doctor, first of all, I am going to tell you that. Well, I don't think I told him right away. It was after I said this to him, and then I told him. I said, doctor, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Tell me why I would want a doctor who has no desire to change, to grow, to move forward like you. If you have done the exact same thing for 20 years, that is almost scary. In fact, it is downright scary. That tells me that you are extremely limited in your thinking and the ways that you live your life. Now that really upset him when I told him that. And there was nothing I could do about it. That's just how I felt. So then I said, oh, and here's the other thing. You're fired. Now, do you see why it's important for your doctor to not be limited? It's extremely important for your doctor to have some kind of open mind, to be willing to learn. How is that doctor going to treat a patient like us? Yes, we're different. We are different. We're more difficult. We are difficult patients. I actually had a doctor tell me that. He stayed my doctor, but he was honest, and I was happy for that. I said, thank you for being honest with me. He wasn't saying it meanly. He was just telling me his truth, and that was what I needed. Truth. Now, those are the main things I'm going to tell you about. You need to figure out what is important to you for your relationship with that doctor. I think the honesty thing is extremely important. I think the communication between you and your doctor is extremely important, especially when you're disabled or challenged, as we are. They need to know We need to agree to this, by the way. If we're not willing to be honest and tell them when there's a change in our eating habits or anything in our lives, they need to know. They might be the people who are going to contact the specialist. For instance, on the GP, if I had a GP right now, which I did, but he left town. And that's a sad thing. This guy was a great doctor. I really thought we had it made. Well, he went to Atlanta, Georgia. No replacement doctor. It was terrible. I haven't had a doctor since he left. That was a year ago. So I do have a doctor, and he tries to take care of me, but he's not a GP. So I need a GP, and I'm going to get one. But anyway, looks like I need an orthopedic doctor too. So this sucker hurts extremely bad. It's very difficult to sit up right now. Do you see my throat? Well, I got a scar that goes from here. It's all the way back here, and it goes all the way to the front. Now, you probably can't see it because my surgeon in Kansas City was so good. Now, I got a horrible scar in my back. Oh, man. It covers the whole half of my back. Oh, boy. He didn't seem to care about that side. But the front, he did. And he did a really good job of you can barely see it. And, I infused from here to there on that part. And then there all the way down on that part. So that's a lot of fusion. And I still use a cane, but the doctors don't know how I'm doing it. They really don't. And they have already told me many times that get ready because we're going to have to put you in a wheelchair. And I tell them that'll be the day. There's a song like that. That'll be the day. Yeah, you betcha. Now, if it happens, it happens. I'll take it one day at a time. Okay, one last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to cut us off. Two last things. Oh boy, I hope I don't repeat myself on this. Did I mention the hangouts? About doing the hangouts? I wrote about it. We need to do hangouts now. There are plenty of us to do hangouts. We can do face to face. This is vitally important. Okay? Vitally important for us to start doing that. Okay, then there's another thing. When I mentioned, or I don't even know if I did mention this, but I'm going to mention it. When the founding fathers, when they started our country and wrote our Constitution and everything, they fully intended for it to be improved upon. Okay? They took the concepts of democracy. I wrote a blog. I wrote 3 or 4 blogs about democracy. So trust me, I've researched it so thoroughly, it's unbelievable. That's how I write. If you read any of my blogs, you'll see, other than my son, my hero, that was a little bit different. There's much more emotion in there. I left out a lot of stuff in that. It was right after my son passed. But getting back to our founders, I have written and researched a tremendous amount on the founding fathers and the beginning of our country for a number of reasons because of another group I'm in. I have one last blog I'm getting ready to write. when this is a little better. Really, my fingers hurt so bad right now, I can't describe it. It's unbelievable. And I do have to take it off at times to do certain things. There's no way I can handle this being on me to do personal things. Just think about it for a minute. Okay, so anyway, the founding fathers were hopeful that our country would grow. Just like what we talked about with the doctors. Grow. Okay? Grow. Well, I think it did grow for a while. Definitely to Abraham Lincoln, I do. But in the last, since the 1900s, around 1910, it's changed dramatically. Now, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to talk about us. When I started this, I kind of set up a few little guidelines for us. One reason for those guidelines was to keep us rolling at the same pace, not jump off into many different directions. Okay? That's not good. I've been in groups like that, and pretty soon you don't know anybody, you don't develop relationships, you're no longer talking about positive recovery things. That's what we want to focus on, is positive recovery things. Okay? So that's why one of the things that I don't want to change is the idea of having a topic once a week or once every 2 weeks. And by topic, I mean we can talk about it as many times as we want. You can put in stuff about that same topic more than once. Maybe something happened during the week that, oh, hey, guess what? This was something about the topic that actually happened this week. I want to share it. That you want to share about. That's why my suggestion is that we leave the topic up for a few weeks. Now, when there's an emergency, I had one. Some of the rest of us have had some. When there is an emergency, heck yeah, jump in there. Tell us about it. If anyone's going to love you, it's going to be us. We're going to love you all the way. No holds back. We're going to love you. No barriers. We're going to love you. So if you got an issue that's outside that topic, you say it. You talk about it. You let us know. You tell the rest of us. And we'll be there for you. And then the other thing was the growth. Of course, I wanted to grow. I started out with a small group of guidelines, but what I'd like to see is for us to develop some guidelines within our group. You know, I don't know how to phrase them, not rules, just guidelines. You know, one thing that we don't want to do is get on our pity pots. Nah, no good. We don't want to do things like that, do we? I haven't seen anybody really do it. I really haven't. Now, somebody talked about depression today, in fact. Okay, so what? Yeah, you betcha some of us are going to get depressed. You betcha. But you know what? Here's the good news. I loved Cherie's answer. I don't take any drugs. Neither do I. When it comes to depression, I handle it a whole different way. I do. And part of it's having this group right here. But that's one of the reasons for the group, to help us if we do get into a depression, to help us get through it. Being depressed, being angry, being sad, being happy, those are all parts of being human. Did we forget that? Did everybody forget about that? Because you know what's really sad? Doctors and nurses are on antidepressants. Did you know that? Yeah, freaks me out too. Oh, and that's something else. I don't want a doctor on antidepressants. Do you? Wow. And I don't know for sure how to ask that question. I have to think about that one. But I can tell you this, my pain doctor, he isn't. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay, so I think I covered everything. And even though we're doing a topic like we're doing it, it's great when you have other ideas that you just want to throw in while we're doing the topics. It's great. Don't be afraid to do that. Thank you, Cheryl. That was wonderful. And I'm glad you broke the ice, because I have some books too that I have not pushed yet. And I have my reasons. I've been trying to create the group and let us get it going, and then I'll start pushing a few new things. But, we still, as a group, we still need to sit down and think about our guidelines. What our honor and respect things are for each other. Right? Hey, I love y'all. I don't want this to be 100 minutes, and I'll talk to you online. Love every one of you. Talk to you soon. Bye.